proud to take a call on Part 4, and you can see by the passion of the opposition that we feel incredibly strongly about the mechanism that government's employing today at this committee stage of bringing this through by stealth. It's absolutely done by stealth, sticking it into an infrastructure bill where they're talking in government in parts 1, 2 and 3 about roads, motorways, rail corridors, and then the New Zealand Railways Corporation, and then we find Part 4 is about housing. So you look to see what's in it for New Zealanders. And this is something about the Kiwi dream, affordable housing. And here it is, by stealth, we're repealing the Affordable Housing Enabling Territorial Authorities Bill through this Act today. So Labour will be definitely voting against Part 4 of the bill. The bit that we're really sad about was when we were in government, the spokesperson for Housing and Opposition at the time, Phil Heatley, continually railed against us in government for doing nothing about affordable housing for New Zealanders, even though we were. And here today is a piece of legislation that sits on the books that is an enabling piece of legislation for local authorities, and we're just by stealth repealing it. It's not compulsory. We didn't say this is something every territorial authority across the land has to do. We said here's one mechanism that might be useful in your district. And if I can recall correctly, it was areas like Queenstown with Mayor Clive Geddes who said, here we are with this amazing tourism boom that's going on at that time under Labour, and we do not have accommodation for service workers. Service workers were staying in buses and in tents and in camping grounds, and Mayor Clive Geddes said, this is an embarrassment to us. We're a community that understands the service sector need a decent place to live, and they need to get a start in getting their own homes. Otherwise, we're going to have to rail them in or bus them in to work with the tourism boom that was going on. So this request came from a mayor of a local authority who had a sense of decency and a sense of pride about his community, and today, out of pure political pique, a fantastic enabling tool for a local authority is simply being repealed. And I think all members in government should hang their heads in shame today, because we haven't seen anything else that gives Kiwis that decent start in life, gives families a sense of pride about a home and a place that is warm and secure for their families to start. Look, Mr. Speaker, my husband and I started with a housing corporation loan. You know, we didn't get enough money together to get a deposit, and without some assistance by government with the right incentive, we would never have got our first home while our children were little, and we thank government for that at the time. And when Marion Street was the Minister of Housing, she looked at what can we do, what of all sorts of tools can we put in place as a government that encourages people into their new homes and their first home. Just want to mention on the record, Mr. Chair, the Human Rights Commission says affordable housing is a critical component of having an adequate standard of living, and it regrets this mechanism today to repeal that Act, but especially without putting anything else to replace it. Age Concern registers their disapproval about what appears to be a process of repeal by stealth, and Mr. Chair, that's becoming the modus operandi of this government. If it's something that they don't want a lot of exposure to, it's done by stealth, and in this way this is definitely a mechanism that they hope just people wouldn't notice. National Council of Women of Aotearoa is concerned that a really laudable section of restricted covenants has been watered down in the revisions to the Properties Act in the bill. These are people with sensible approaches to life, fair approaches to life, and opinions about what people deserve when they live and participate in working lives in New Zealand, and affordable housing is the first rung of the ladder, and as Marion Hobbs said, they've lifted it up.